There's been a lot said about Ford's decision to pull the big saloons from its range, but if you're a fan of the fast Mondeos, you don't need to worry. You see, that is not a big saloon. That is a Grand Tourer. Hear that? That's the sound of the YouTube comments. They've started early. Hold your keyboards. I've got sound reasoning for such a bold statement. You see, if you Google the definition of Grand Tourer, you get a type of sports car designed for high speed and long distance driving due to a combination of performance and luxury attributes. So you see, that really is a Grand Tourer. Meet the Mondeo ST200.
I'm on the raceway 5 and it's revving real high when the lights go green.
This is certainly no ordinary Mondeo. Think Sierra Cosworth performance, almost in a more accessible, subtle package comprising plentiful linear power delivery and less in-your-face styling. Though the paint shop didn't get the memo. That imperial blue colour is borrowed from the Ford Racing Puma. The 2.5 litre V6 packs a surprising punch, coming in at a shade over 200 brake horsepower with a top speed of 141 miles per hour and a satisfying 235 newton meters of torque. This heavy Mondeo will lurch to 60 miles per hour in 7.5 seconds.
Some pretty average performing cars have dined out on the Grand Tourer tag. Take for example the original BMW 8 Series, undeniably a GT car, but it only had 290 horsepower on the entry-level spec and did 0 to 60 just half a second quicker than the ST200. Then you've got the Mercedes SL280, 200 brake horsepower V6, 2 seconds slower to 60 than the Mondeo. And if you want another example, there's the 1984 Maserati Biturbo, 7.1 to 60.
Okay, so you have to scrape the barrel and blur the definition a little bit in order to find the Grand Tourers that sit alongside Ford's Sporty saloon in the performance stakes. But in principle, the Grand Tourer tag has a lot more scope for inclusion than just about any other title you could throw at this Mondeo.
If we win this time, we're right up there. Do it.
Could you call it a sports car? Not really. What about a super saloon? Now that pitches it against cars like the BMW M3 and the Audi RS4, and it ain't that. What about a sports saloon? That's not really a thing. And I know how protective you lot are about the term hot hatch, although it does have a hatchback, this particular one.
All of the above categories require very focused styling and performance, and you'll usually find a Nürburgring reference somewhere in the brochure. The Grand Tourer name tag allows for a bit of leeway, some pleasingly soft edges. The candidate can afford to compromise on a few of the above things, as long as it adds a nice amount of luxury and comfort, is reasonably impressive, and maintains a level of exclusivity.
The bespoke 17-inch wheels, the deep side skirts, the sporty bumpers and spoilers and twin exhausts were all pretty sporty in a Ford kind of a way. And it was luxurious as well, for a Mondeo. It had a multi-CD changer, it had electric mirrors, leather seats, blue dials with the ST200 badge on them. These were all luxuries for a Ford Mondeo. They only made 6,500 of these ST200s, which when you compare it to, for example, the pre-facelift Maserati Quattroporte, they made 15,000 of those. It does start to become fairly exclusive.
On the home straight now.
Anyway, you can argue with me all you like about all those sorts of things, because this is how a Grand Tourer is meant to sound. It's certainly not how I ever imagined a Ford Mondeo sounding.
Like all good fast Fords, the Mondeo ST200 came in a limited range of colours. Well, 2 to be precise. This glitzy imperial blue and white. Only rumour has it that the super rare white examples were originally produced to be police cars, but the order was cancelled.
Perhaps the police just couldn't be seen to be splashing out on a fleet of GT cars. Mind you, they did have Rover SD1s.
The red line, the red line, gotta reach the red line. Checkered flag ahead, vibrations real hard. Warning lights are on, so I gotta discard. I gotta win this goddamn little race.
So down the pub, you'll probably have to agree to disagree on a few things, and you'll also find yourself using the phrase "for a Mondeo" to justify the Mondee's various shortfalls against the cars that I've pitched it alongside or shoehorned it in alongside. So in the interest of compromise, how about we put it like this? The Mondeo ST200 is an entry-level Grand Tourer, but it will only be entry-level as long as it takes the Ford investors to get bored of barn-fired
Sierra Cosworths.
And when that day comes, you'll be kicking yourself because you'll be scouring the classifieds for a knackered old Maserati, wondering why you didn't get a Mondeo ST200 when they were within budget. It could happen.